The VORON 2.4 3D printer is undoubtedly one of the coolest 3D printers one can buy at the moment. After building my own, I thought I'd share my overall experience and highlight some of the issues I ran into while building my VORON. I'll discuss the tools I used, the things I would do differently, and tips for soon-to-be VORON owners. There's no better place to start than with the tools you'll need. For any VORON build, you'll need a set of hex drivers ranging from 1.5mm to 3mm in 5mm increments, a wire crimper, soldering iron, wire strippers, metal tap, cordless drill, and needle nose pliers. The tools required will vary depending on which kit you get, but since you're here, I'll assume that you're getting the FormBot kit. The assembly of a VORON 2.4 begins with the construction of the frame. The FormBot kit comes with pre-tapped linear extrusions. When assembling the frame, it's crucial that the frame is square. I validated this by loosely threading the bolts into the extrusions, placing the frame on a granite countertop, applying weight onto the top of the frame, then tightening the bolts into the extrusions. Next, a similar process will be applied with the build plate. Place the plate onto a granite countertop and check if the plate teeter-totters. From what I've heard from various sources, FormBot build plates are a hit or miss when it comes to warping. So if yours is warped, contact FormBot and I'm sure they'll sort you out. With a flat print bed, apply the bed heater and thermal fuse onto the plate. The metal taps will come into use during this step. You'll want to position your thermal fuse to avoid the rail while having enough wire to reach the bed heaters. Use the metal tap to create a divot for the drill bit to bite into, then use a drill press to create a deep enough hole such that the thermal fuse sits flush to the bed. The key here is to use a drill bit that's 0.5mm smaller than the screw you'll use. In my case, I used an M4 screw, so a 3.5mm screw bit was the perfect size. I had Kapton tape lying around, but I recommend using high temperature silicone putty to secure the heater to the plate as an added layer of security in the event that the adhesive was to fail. Shortly after the assembly of the frame, I assembled the Z end stop. For convenience, grab a pre-made PCB from AliExpress. The FunSor PCB is a cheap option. It'll save you the time and effort of soldering tiny end stop pins, but if you're used to soldering small pads in tight spaces, you'll feel right at home here. Speaking of PCBs, I would also purchase the hot end PCB made by FunSor. It's basically an interface board that has one Molex input that splits out into each respective component. Not only will this help with the cleanliness of your extruder wiring, but the convenience of not needing to crimp all the JST connectors is a lifesaver. With the sheer complexity and abundance of wiring in the extruder assembly, the last thing you want is a bad crimp causing something to malfunction. For just those reasons alone, I would grab the PCB to save me the headache. With all that being said, I didn't use any PCBs in my build and my printer works completely fine, so by no means are these required. The Clicky Probe upgrade is a mod that all VORON 2.4s should have. It's endorsed by such a large number of 2.4 owners, I'm surprised it isn't included in the 2.4 bill of materials and assembly guide. Unlike most bed slinger 3D printers with an end stop attached to their Z-axis to detect when the nozzle is near the bed, the 2.4 uses an induction probe instead. This is because the 2.4 has 4 independent motors driving the Z gantry, and a single end stop at one point on the bed isn't able to provide the controller with enough information on where the 4 sides of the gantries are. The probe that sits behind the print head, paired with some software magic, gives the 2.4 the ability to compensate for a bed that isn't completely level, as well as any discrepancies in the motor height while it travels throughout the 4 corners. In a perfect world, this solution would work, but unfortunately it doesn't. Induction probes work by sensing a change in electromagnetic field. However, the probes provided by the kit tend to fail to give an accurate reading. After a dozen emails back and forth with FormBot and 2 faulty replacement probes later, I folded and ordered the parts required for the Clicky Probe mod. In total, the parts came out to $30, with a good portion of that attributed to the difficulty of sourcing a authentic Omron end stop in Canada. I went with Omron end stops because the constant thermal cycling inside of the enclosure of a 3D printer will destroy a cheap probe rather quickly. For cable management, I used a cable raceway. Commonly used in enterprise server farms, they are specifically designed for this application, heat tolerant and durable. Fortunately, I found a local seller that stocked this raceway for $31. Using a Dremel, I cut the raceways into 3 pieces and attached it down to the acrylic base plate with VHB tape. On the topic of cable management, my power distribution rail of choice is the Wago splicing connector for each respective 12V and 5V rail. Wago connectors comply with UL and CSA standards, which may be considered excessive for this particular application. There are plenty of cost-effective power rails that I would have used instead, however, I had a few of these on hand so I used them instead. The included Gold's SSR or solid state relay is known to fail, so I replaced it with a genuine Panasonic 15A AQA 211VL SSR. The SSR is the relay that controls the on and off state of your AC bed heater, so I didn't want to roll the dice on a cheaper relay. From what I understand, FormBot now includes both genuine SSRs and Wago connectors in their kit. This is awesome to see because the price remained the same while the parts costed me an extra $100. The new kit also comes with a pre-made wiring loom for your extruder, which will save you a solid 2 hours of measuring, cutting, and crimping. This gives me all the more reason to recommend the FormBot kit. And that's all I have. As I'm writing this script, I'm looking back at the amount of time I've put into building this machine and I thought to myself, would I recommend a Voron to a friend? If my friend was technologically inclined and is willing to invest the time into learning every inch of building one of these amazing 3D printers, then yes. If they were looking for something that would work without much tuning and tinkering, this is not their machine. A Prusa or Bambulab is. And so that's about it for this video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more electronics, technology, and DIY projects. And I'll see you in the next video.